Let me ask you something. Are you waiting for the moment? That bolt of divine motivation that is supposed to strike from the heavens and finally turn you into the person you know you could be? That one magical day when you'll wake up at 5 a.m., run 10 kilometers, read an entire book, launch your business, and meditate for an hour, all before you've even had your coffee? Let me give you a slap of reality. That day is never coming. That fantasy of instant transformation, that obsession with giant leaps and heroic gestures, it's the biggest lie you've ever bought into. It's garbage. It's the very thing that's keeping you exactly where you are, stuck. Stuck in the vicious cycle of feeling inspired for 2 days and then crushed by reality for 2 months. You know exactly what I'm talking about. The New Year's Eve high, the "this is my year" promise. You buy the most expensive gym membership. You stock the fridge with broccoli. You write a to-do list so long it looks like an ancient scroll. And 1 week later, the broccoli is a science experiment in your fridge. Your running shoes are a very effective doorstop. And the only thing you've crushed is an entire pizza box while watching another video on how to be productive. That pain, that gnawing frustration of knowing you have this massive potential locked inside of you, but you can't seem to find the key. That's real. And today, we are going to kick that door down. Because the key you're looking for isn't a sledgehammer. It's not a nuclear explosion of willpower. The key is ridiculously, insultingly small. It's called the 1% rule. And this isn't another cute productivity hack. This is the atomic weapon of personal growth. It's the mathematical principle that separates the amateurs from the masters, the dreamers from the doers. It is the only rule you need to stop being a spectator in your own life and start building massive, earth-shattering success, one tiny, insignificant brick at a time. Stay with me, because what I'm about to show you will rewire the way you look at progress forever. Let's start with the part that school should have taught you, but didn't. The math that actually matters in life. We all have this broken perception of time and effort. We dramatically overestimate what we can achieve in a single, heroic day. But we criminally underestimate what we can accomplish in a year of small, consistent steps. Think about it. If you get just 1% better every single day, which is almost nothing, it's a rounding error. At the end of 1 year, you won't be 365% better because of the power of compounding. You will be 37 times better. 37 times. Let that sink in. Think about what that actually means. If you can do 1 push-up today, in a year you'll be doing 37. If you can save $1 today, in a year you'll have the foundation of someone 37 times more disciplined. If you can read 1 page today, in a year you will have absorbed the knowledge of 37 books. Now, here's the slap in the face. Here's the part that should scare you. What if you get 1% worse every day? What if you choose comfort, the lazy option, the excuse just for today? You don't just end the year a little bit worse off. You end up with practically nothing. Zero. That's right. The math shows you decay to almost nothing. You effectively erase yourself. This is the choice you are making every single day, whether you realize it or not. You are either on the path to becoming 37 times your current self, or you are on the path to total irrelevance. There is no middle ground. There is no staying the same. In the game of life, you are either growing or you are dying. The 1% rule isn't about being perfect. It's about choosing your trajectory. Choosing the path of 1.01 instead of 0.9-9 every single day. No exceptions. No days off from the choice, okay? I get the math. That's insane. But how do I actually do it? How do I make it happen when I have zero motivation? Great question. To answer that, you have to understand your greatest enemy, your own lazy brain. Your brain is an ancient survival machine. It's not designed to make you happy or successful. It's designed to do 2 things: conserve energy and avoid danger. In trying to make a huge, life-altering change to your primitive brain that signals massive danger, it's new, it's uncertain, it's hard. That's why when you declare, "I'm going to change everything," your brain slams on the emergency brake with all its might. It floods you with fear, with doubt, with an overwhelming urge to retreat back to the comfort of your couch. But the 1% rule, oh, it's clever. It's sneaky. A 1% effort is so small, so pathetically non-threatening, then it flies completely under your brain's radar. It doesn't trigger the alarm bells. Doing a single push-up isn't scary. Reading one page of a book isn't exhausting. Meditating for 60 seconds isn't intimidating. You are essentially tricking your own internal defense system into leaving you alone. And while your brain is looking the other way, you're building something incredibly powerful in the background, a habit. Think of it like this. Every tiny, repeated action is like taking a step through a field of tall grass. The first time, it's hard. You barely make a dent. But if you walk that same exact path every single day, what happens? You start to forge a trail. That trail is a new neural pathway in your brain. The more you use it, the wider, clearer, and easier it becomes to walk. Eventually, that path becomes so well-worn that walking it requires zero effort. It becomes the default. It becomes automatic. It becomes part of who you are. You no longer decide to be a person who exercises. You just are. You don't force yourself to read. You just read. This isn't about motivation anymore. This is about identity. And it all starts with a step so laughably small that your lazy brain doesn't even bother to stop you. Enough theory. Let's get practical. How do you apply this to your life right now? Let's break it down into the core areas where you're probably feeling stuck. Your health, your knowledge, and your skills. First, your health. Forget the 90-day body transformation nonsense. That's just marketing to sell you powders and plans. The real game is long-term consistency. Hear us what the loser does. I'm going to hit the gym for 2 hours every day and only eat chicken and broccoli. This lasts for 4 days before they burn out and order a family-sized pizza in defeat. Here's what the 1% winner does. Today, I'm going to do one push-up, just one. And I'm going to drink one extra glass of water. Does that sound stupidly simple? Good. That's the point. Stupidity is the disguise for genius here. Tomorrow, maybe you'll do 2 push-ups. Or maybe just one again. It doesn't matter. What matters is you showed up. You did the rep. You reinforced the identity of I am someone who takes care of my body. That tiny, daily 1% builds a foundation of health and strength over a year that the 90-day wonder can't even comprehend. Next, your knowledge. You want to be smarter, read more, learn faster. Stop setting the goal of read 50 books this year. That's a recipe for failure and feeling overwhelmed. Hear us what the loser does. I am going to read for an hour every night. They fall asleep on the 3rd page with a book on their face. Here's what the 1% winner does. Today, I will read one single page of a non-fiction book. 1 page. That's it. It takes 2 minutes. No one is too busy to read 1 page. But that 1 page a day becomes 365 pages a year. That's more than a full book of dense knowledge that you actually absorbed and understood. Instead of just skimming. Over a decade, that's 10, 20, 30 books that have fundamentally rewired your brain. All because you had the humility to start with a single, insignificant page. Finally, your skills. You want to learn to code, play the guitar, speak a new language? The logic is identical. Here's what the loser does. I'm going to dedicate my entire Saturday, 3 hours, to learning Spanish. They burn themselves out and never open the language app again. Here's what the 1% winner does. Today, I am going to learn one new word in Spanish and use it in a sentence. One word. It's a 30-second effort. But in a year, that's 365 new words. That's the foundation of conversational fluency. The secret to mastery isn't intensity, it's frequency. It's the daily, repeated exposure that cements the information in your brain and builds real, usable skill. If the 1% rule is so simple and powerful, why isn't everyone using it? Why is almost everyone still stuck? Because we are addicted to a poison, a self-sabotaging venom called perfectionism. Perfectionism pretends to be a high standard, but it's really just fear in a fancy suit. It's the ultimate dream killer. It's the all-or-nothing mindset that whispers toxic lies in your ear. If I can't go to the gym for a perfect 1-hour workout, then I might as well not go at all. If I don't have enough time to read a whole chapter, then it's not worth even picking up the book. If my first attempt at this project isn't a masterpiece, then it proves I don't have what it takes. Sound familiar? That's the voice of mediocrity. disguised as excellence. Perfectionism convinces you that starting small is a sign of weakness. It tells you to wait for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, the perfect mood. And guess what? The perfect moment is a myth. It never arrives. The 1% rule is the direct antidote to this disease. It's about embracing imperfect, consistent action. I want you to learn to love the mediocre start. Love the good enough effort. The person who does 10 sloppy push-ups every single day for a year will be infinitely stronger and more disciplined than the perfectionist who spent that same year researching the optimal workout routine and never lifted a single weight. There's a phrase you need to tattoo on your brain. Done is better than perfect. Say it again. Done is better than perfect. Your one page, poorly written draft is infinitely better than the perfect novel that only exists in your head. Your clumsy 5-minute walk around the block is infinitely better than the perfect marathon you never trained for. Your imperfect action today is more powerful than all your perfect intentions for tomorrow combined. So here we are, the end of the video, and this is where you face a choice. You can click away, you can close this tab and go back to scrolling your feed, chasing that next little hit of fleeting inspiration that lasts for 5 minutes. You can go back to dreaming about the grand, heroic version of yourself that will magically appear one day. You can keep waiting for that lightning bolt of motivation to strike, or you can finally give yourself that slap in the face you've been needing. You can accept the brutal, liberating truth that success is not an event, it's a process. That greatness isn't found in giant leaps, but in relentless, tiny steps. That the universe doesn't reward your good intentions, it rewards your action. I don't care how small your 1% is. In fact, the smaller, the more pathetic it feels, the better. Because that means you have absolutely zero excuse not to do it right now. Not tomorrow. Not after I finish this show. Now, pause this video, stand up, do 1 push-up, read 1 page, write 1 sentence, drink 1 glass of water. Take 1 single step in the direction of that thing that scares the hell out of you. The person you will become in 1 year, in 5 years, in 10 years, is being forged in the furnace of the tiny, almost invisible decisions you make in this very moment. The 1% rule isn't about changing your life overnight. It's about something far more profound. It's about becoming the person who, day after day, builds the life they desire with their own 2 hands. It's about proving to yourself every single day that you are in control. The choice is yours. The path of 0.99 that decays to nothing, or the path of 1.01 that compounds into everything. So, the question isn't what you're going to do tomorrow. The question is, what is your 1% today? Put it in the comments, commit to it, no more excuses. And if this video gave you the boost you needed, hit that like button and subscribe, because we have a lot more to build together.